Welcome to Toffee TV. There's your comments for the Chelsea game. Thanks to all of you, as ever, for getting in touch with us on YouTube on the comments of our video. So let's get straight into it. Brian Barkley says, Barkley was terrible. Rom may as well have stayed in the dressing room for the 90 minutes today. It was a missed opportunity to put pressure on Man United and Arsenal. Looks like we're going to finish 7th. Shocking performance. But was it really a shocking? It wasn't that really a shocking performance, really, was it? For a good hour, we were in the game, and a wonder goal has changed the game. And from then on, we were pretty poor. Some pretty poor goalkeeping. Barkley, yeah, bad decision making, as always. And Rom showed glimpses of what he can do, and that was probably the most disappointing thing. A couple of times he rattled David Luiz, and yeah. Could have done a hell of a lot better. So with Man United not winning and with Arsenal losing, yeah, possibly. You know, listen, we've still Chelsea are a fantastic side. So just one of those. Gary Cargill says Barkley is going, no question in my mind. He'll be a fool to himself, but he's going. Big change in the summer. I think. Yeah, I mean, don't necessarily think Barkley will be going, but. Yeah, we'll wait and see. It'd be interesting to get a clearer idea of what's going on with his contract. It really would. But does the manager want him? Does he really want him? Are Everton playing a game where they're thinking, well, we'll go and get someone like Sigurdsson and, be better off? I don't know. That's up to the manager. If Barkley thinks he can go somewhere else and get first team football, then he's going to have to play a hell of a lot better than he did in this game and other big games. James Dunlop says, the summer is crucial for us. Yes, we have Europe next season, but we need better players next season. Chelsea were better today. Just shows how much behind we are of the top 6. Barkley's got to go in the summer. He is consistent. He is not consistent, and that was the worst performance I've ever seen of him. Pathetic by him. I wouldn't say it was the worst performance by Barkley. I've seen worse performance. It was a bit of a change job for him as well. He's playing more as a central midfielder in the 2 with Garner, chasing Hazard all around the pitch. Why does it have to be sell him though? Why can't it be keep him and get better players around him or make him fight for his position? It doesn't mean sell him. I think that's what people need to get away from. Build a squad. Ian Spencer says it was never a 3-0 game and I didn't think we played as bad as people are saying. Don't get me wrong, we weren't good, but I don't think people are being... I think people are being a bit harsh. Ross was trying, but it was just never happened today. But at least he was trying to make things happen. Yeah, I tend to agree with you there, Ian. I don't think it was a 3-0. I don't think we deserved anything but a defeat, but I don't think it was a 3-0. Yeah, I think that's the problem. Ross does try too hard, especially in these kind of games, and that's really gets found out. Fergus O'Connor says, had a chance to lay down a marker for next season. Hugely disappointing. We've been brilliant at times this season, but it seems every time the Sky cameras are on us, we melt. Well, I think it's more like every time we play a big team, we melt. Apart from Man City, who we just don't seem to fear. But everyone else, that is obviously an issue. But listen, we didn't have our best team out there. We were missing Snidland, Seamus Coleman, and that's big in these games. If you haven't got your best players, you're always going to suffer. But we've won 8 in a row before this, and we're playing the potential champions. So disappointing, yes, but not the end of the world. Simon Townley says, spot on, the sub shows the lack of quality in the squad. Chelsea can make at least 5 changes to a team and have the same effect, whereas we make 1 and struggle. Massive sum ahead, at least 7 players in, or we could struggle to balance the league and Europe next season. That's a really good point. We need these players for Europa League and the Premier League, and I think Ronald Koeman would know that, and he'll stress that to the board, that they've got to go out and buy a hell of a lot of good, talented players to make it work next season. There's no point being in the Europa League if we can only get to, out the group stage, and it affects our Premier League, run, that we can't compete. Man United have shown this season that you can compete in both, but you need to have quality players. that can work Sunday and Thursday. I2Share says, I see a lot of people giving Barkley shit, which is definitely deserves, but what about the horrendous game from Steck? This guy isn't even good enough to back up Joel. Will be very troubling if this guy's still in next season. No idea what Koeman sees in him. The guy couldn't handle a tennis ball if it was rolled on him. Listen, Stecklenberg is not a first teamer. I don't think he was ever meant to be a first teamer. I think he's only come back into the side because Joel made mistakes and Koeman was, sending out a very clear message. But he isn't good enough. And I don't know why he's starting games. It should, for me, yes, Joel's made mistakes, but he ain't the right to play to the end of the season because Stecklenberg simply isn't good enough. Next season we need a new number one top class goalkeeper. It's as simple as that if we're going to compete. So hopefully they'll go and find that man. British CPA says the Coney sub is baffling. Do you think it was made as an advertisement to the lower team struggling with striking options? Koeman saw the players, packed it in and thought give him a run and hope someone buys him in the summer. Well, he's on a free transfer, so it doesn't really matter. Only thing that seems to make sense, why Coney and not Luckman as a sub. Listen, Coney's a centre forward and Luckman isn't, so maybe he thought he'd bring him on because he'd have a bit of a physical edge. I don't know. I really don't know why. We've spoke about this in the final word. I don't know why he brought him on. I really don't. But he'll be going in the summer regardless. So thank God for that. Callum 96 says disappointing results as we could have cemented 6th place today. I don't think we could have cemented it. Could we really? But obviously it wasn't to be. Chelsea are going to be good. Going to go on to win the league. But we as a club need to bring in some new players and strengthen for next season in the Europa League. But the players need to keep it together till the end of the season and not drop any more points. Well, there's no, they could drop more points regardless of whether at the best or not. There's no guarantee they won't. But yes, we don't want them to go to sleep for the rest of the season and throw the flip-flops on. Yeah. No, we could have put, at the end of the day, we'd won. We would have gone up to 6 points and put pressure on Arsenal, who've still obviously got games in hand. But it was against Chelsea, let's get that right. If we go to Swansea next week and we get beat, then yes, you can say that. You can say that's terrible because they're in the relegation zone. But it is Chelsea. They are probably going to go on and win the league. Jimmy Everton says, I think your assessment about us being better than those below us, a bit behind those above us and miles behind top 4 is a good assessment, but let's not judge our season on our finishing position. Not that you personally have. The difference between this year and last year's finishing of Stoke, Leicester, West Ham and Southampton, if you look at our position, are we also judging this year too well? As remember that we sank very low under Martinez, but only a few seasons ago we were 5th and below that regularly getting higher than 7th. Anyone who thinks Everton have moved forward needs to look beyond the previous 2 seasons. Yeah, but we have though. We have moved on because yeah, you are right. Under Moyes we regularly finish where we're finishing this season, but you have to get back to that point, don't you? You have to say we finished 11th for the last 2 seasons and we were awful last season. Koeman's first job was to move us on from that, which he's done. That was a big job on its own because of the dross Martinez had bought. Don't forget, the team last season was much transformed from Moyes' last team. So Koeman's first job was to get rid of all those players, bring in new players and get us back to a Europa League place. He's done that, and now that gives us the platform to try and jump on again. But we couldn't have done that. We couldn't have gone from 11th to say 4th in one season. Impossible. The way the Premier League is now, we had to get to this level. So it is a big job he's done. He's got us there. We're miles ahead of 7th, okay, but we're miles behind, let's say, 4th place. So we've got to, that's the next bridge the gap now. That's the big job. He's had to, in this one season, he's got us back to where we were 2-3 seasons ago. Of course he has. Now the next job. So now the next job is the most important thing, but he had to get us to that level, and he's done it. So, you know, we're back in Europe and we'll see what happens. Tank C says we need 5 top signings this summer. The scoreline was probably a bit harsh, but it shows how far we're behind the top 4. I've been watching Tierney from Celtic very closely and think he would be perfect replacement for Baines. Well done to Koeman and the players. We made Europe after the Martinez shambles, but we still have major work to do in the summer. Today was probably one of the times I watched us, but never got mad about after the defeat. Roll on the summer. Absolutely right. You watch that game and you could see the gulf in class. Just the players off the bench that probably, you know, give them that little bit of extra in the last 30 minutes. And that's the difference. And we've got to go out now and strengthen this squad. Not even strengthen it, sort of rip the squad up and bring in top quality players that are going to get into the first team, push some of those established players out to the bench, and give us a platform to go on for next season. And that's it. They're your comments. Thanks as ever for getting in touch with us, leaving your comments on our inter-match reactions and our ratings video that Baz does every single week, whether he likes it or not. I make sure he does it. Keep your comments coming in as ever. If your comments haven't got in this video, they might get in the video we put on Twitter. So get over there and check those out. Thanks for watching. See you later.